Welcome to the European Parliamentary Research Service podcast on boosting strategic value chains in Europe.
The disruption of global value chains that followed the COVID-19 pandemic has given fresh impetus to the EU's quest for more strategic autonomy.
One of the ways to achieve this is by using state aid to finance important projects of European interest. Until now, this possibility has been completely underutilised, so it may be time to make greater use of it. Stay with us.
State aid rules in the internal market are rather tight so that no government can unfairly subsidise its companies, distorting the level playing field on the single market. But EU law provides for one little-known exception when it's used to finance important projects of common European interest. So what kind of projects qualify as such?
Well, originally projects were limited to the areas of research, development, innovation and environmental protection. But in 2014, the scope was broadened to include projects in any economic sector with the potential to create growth and jobs, foster competitiveness, sustainability and value creation across the EU.
To qualify as an important project of common European interest, projects also need to involve more than one member state and ensure that its benefits are widely shared and do not distort the level playing field in Europe. They also need to be co-financed by the beneficiaries and demonstrate their innovative potential and high added value.
Such projects are often challenging to fund due to the technological or financial risks involved and the challenges of international cooperation. So if the market alone would not take the risk, why not allow European governments to come together to support such important projects of common European interest?
Why not? However, while the scheme has been in place for 15 years, only 4 such projects have been notified to and assessed by the Commission so far. The first 2 in the area of infrastructure were partially annulled by the Court of Justice, and the Commission opened in-depth investigations to examine their compatibility with state aid. One of those concluded that the aid was legal, the other is ongoing.
But the next 2 were launched successfully in the areas of strategic value chains for microelectronics and batteries. So let's examine them in greater detail.
The project on microelectronics is the first in the area of strategic value chains to be approved by the Commission. Present in every smartphone and tablet, microelectronics are indispensable in today's information and communication society. So if we don't want to depend on others for such essential technology, we have to be able to design and produce them in the EU.
Precisely. And besides being a strategic asset, microelectronics can generate millions of new jobs, products and services, as well as new opportunities for economic growth and industrial competitiveness. But global competition is fierce.
And the only way to lower production costs and remain competitive is through economies of scale. But the EU's position here is not one to envy.
No, it's not. Its market share has been shrinking and it is clearly less competitive and less innovative than other global players, particularly in East Asia. So in order to give the sector a little push, in 2018 the Commission approved €1.75 billion in state aid for an important project of common interest launched by France, Germany, Italy and the UK to support research and innovation in this field.
29 participants are involved, both inside and outside the EU, in over 100 collaborations, and it opened the doors for the approval of another important project in the area of batteries, which is one of the EU's strategic value chains. Stay with us.
You may be thinking, why batteries? Well, let me give you some context. The transition to climate neutrality, including through clean and low-emission mobility, means that the demand for batteries in the near future is likely to skyrocket.
But currently, battery cell manufacturing is an investment-intensive industry requiring massive volumes and highly automated manufacturing processes. On top of that, 8 out of 10 batteries produced globally come from Asia. So in 2019, the Commission approved the state aid plans presented by 7 European countries to jointly develop a full European battery value chain, and is expected to lead to more performing and less polluting batteries to power Europe's green revolution.
The €3.2 billion provided jointly by Belgium, Finland, France, Germany, Italy, Poland and Sweden to carry out this project are expected to unlock an additional €5 billion in private investment.
Now this is certainly interesting, so why aren't there more of such projects?
Well, first of all, it takes a lot of time and effort to put them together. There's common objectives to be identified, stakeholders to mobilise, money to be raised, and there's quite a lot of red tape involved. Having said that, lessons are being learned, and the project on batteries took much less time to set up than the one on microelectronics.
What's more, the political shift towards greater technological sovereignty and strategic autonomy within the EU has been given further impetus with the outbreak of the coronavirus pandemic, which disrupted global value chains and highlighted the need for a more self-sufficient European production model.
And even before the COVID-19 crisis, there was a lively debate on the need to create European champions that can compete with the tech giants such as China and the US. These champions do not need to be a single enterprise, but can also be created as an alliance of companies working together to achieve a common goal. So, our important project of common European interest, the magic bullet?
Well, maybe not the magic bullet, but in this context, they can come in really handy for creating the complex new value chains that can boost the EU's competitiveness and economic growth.
Realising this potential, a growing number of governments, experts and organisations have been calling to make the rules easier so that they can be more frequently and widely used, and to widen their application to more technological fields such as connected, automated and electric vehicles, smart health, low carbon industries, hydrogen technologies or the industrial Internet of Things.
A request echoed by the European Parliament, who would also like to see the requirements of this type of project streamlined to allow smaller industrial research projects to benefit from such exception to common state aid rules.
So the Commission is set to revise the current guidelines next year in order to reflect legal, technological and market changes to better match Europe's current priorities and support its economic recovery.
But whether the update will really manage to make such projects more accessible and therefore more widely used across the EU remains to be seen.
You're listening to the European Parliamentary Research Service podcast.